next keynote. I'm very glad to call, come with me, Javishth Chabria. Please welcome him.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a presentation, so take lots of pictures. You're going to need it. Why does Boeing simulate a plane thousands of times before they build it? Surgeons practice operations in VR before they pick up a scalpel. Architects walk through buildings that don't exist yet. But a $200 million film gets planned with PDFs and mood boards. Film is the last major industry that still builds before it truly simulates. Bonjour, my name is Javishth, and I'm from one of the largest entertainment spheres in the world, Mumbai. I've spent the last few years building AI pipelines for Bollywood and Hollywood movies, and what that showed me is this. We don't have a tooling problem in films. We have an infrastructure problem. And infrastructure determines who wins. When I was younger, I wanted to be a superhero, as most kids do. And as narcissistic as it sounds, I wanted to play video games where I was the superhero and maybe even have my very own action figure in a McDonald's Happy Meal. I'm still waiting on that deal, by the way. The desire to live inside a story, to be the character, is not vanity. It's the deepest signal of what stories do to us and of what we always wanted from them, but never really had the technology to ask for. Generative AI just made that ask answerable. For the first time, becoming a character in the story is just not fiction anymore. It's possible, right? And that's amazing. Stories are always something we watched. Now, they're something we can enter. The question the world's asking right now is AI filmmaking really an art form? Can you call it cinema? Actually, cinema was not always an art form. In 1895, cinema was a carnival attraction. The Lumiere brothers charged people to watch a train arrive at a station. Nobody called it art. Every new medium looks like a fad until it becomes a language. We are standing at that exact moment again today. It took 30 years and a generation of obsessives, people who saw something that wasn't there yet, to drag it into legitimacy. Photography was dismissed as mechanical. Jazz was noise. Hip-hop was a fad. Video games spent 2 decades fighting to be taken seriously and are now the largest entertainment medium on earth. It's the same arc every time. A new medium which eventually goes mainstream. AI cinema is at step 1 right now. We are the Lumiere brothers moment. The question is not whether it becomes an art form, it's who builds that bridge. The first step I saw towards building that bridge was, of course, integrating AI into the traditional filmmaking pipelines. Originally, VFX and animation sequences were the first formats where this technology could be integrated. As the models kept getting better, we realized, okay, prompt to realistic video is actually quite easy now. A leap in filmmaking nobody could have anticipated in such a short time. And then we made a critical mistake. We tried to remove ourselves from the process entirely. Writing long prompts is tedious. What if an AI agent could handle the entire process of writing the prompts, generating the visuals, and stitching together the entire shots to make the film, while we just gave the core idea? And in doing that, we almost removed creativity itself. Of course, every single AI platform followed suit and continues to move in the same direction. We did so too when we started. I predicted a few months ago in a Substack essay of mine that all the AI video tools will converge and start looking the same within 12 months. Different logos, same outputs. The differentiation will not be features, it will be how you think about storytelling. That does not mean I'm a prophet. Looking to the future to course correct is something all of us are going to find ourselves doing even more as new formats and mediums emerge for storytelling. But where does human agency come into all of this? When we were building out our platform, I thought we were building out a cinematic thinking engine. Where an AI agent helps think and co-create with humans. But what we actually ended up building is a cinematic simulation engine. And that's the thesis and idea with which I want to leave you with today. every serious industry on earth, whether it's aviation, defense, or medicine, simulates way before it touches reality. Why does film, the most expensive storytelling medium in history, still plan with PDFs and mood boards? Pre-visualization has been around for decades, done in small batches for complex sequences. The most commercially successful franchise in human history simulates entire films before shooting. Every set, every shot, every sequence stress tested in simulation first. Previs shows you shots, simulation shows you decisions. But now with generative AI around, offering rapid iteration, prototyping, and enhanced decision making, we are entering a new era of cinematic simulation that just wasn't possible before. The film today is discovered in the edit. In the future, it will be discovered before production. Cinematic simulation should be the industry standard, not an exception. I have a question for everyone in this audience. Do you think cinema is about creativity or commerce? I think it's about both. There are two kinds of films. One is creativity first, the festival films and the independent work, and the second is commerce first, the franchise-driven and branded content. Both need simulation, but for completely different reasons. Commerce needs efficiency and risk reduction, while creativity needs the freedom to explore and infinite iteration without consequence. The middle ground, where most films live, need both simultaneously. Simulation is the first time both can coexist without compromise. And hopefully, our platform helps to bridge that gap and gives everyone a taste of cinematic simulation. But what does the creative infrastructure look like for a platform that does this? The first is the data layer. Every alternate direction a filmmaker doesn't take is information about the story. It's not a waste, it's data. Currently, that information is lost. It either lives inside someone's head or in a discarded document. A simulation engine captures every branch. For the first time, storytelling becomes measurable without reducing it to metrics. The story that gets made is the result of a data-informed creative process, not just instinct. We are building the data analytics layer for narrative. The second is the orchestration layer. As I mentioned earlier, every AI tool right now, whether it's the storyboard generators, image tools, or scriptwriting assistants, is converging towards the same feature set. The studios building their workflows on individual tools will have to start over. The answer isn't a better tool. The answer is a simulation layer that sits above all the tools and orchestrates them. It's about the infrastructure, not the features. The winner will not be the best tool. It will be the best storytelling system. And the third is something that's underrated and counterintuitive. Right now, film forgets its own thinking, which explains a lot of sequels. In software, version control is standard. In film, nothing is ever version controlled. Every revision overrides the last. What if every creative decision taken in pre-production was tracked, branchable, and reversible? Directors could explore a dark version and a hopeful version of the same film simultaneously and choose. That is a fundamentally new relationship between a filmmaker and their story. GitHub changed how software is built. Version control will change how films are built. AI native cinema is not a new genre. It's a new medium. We will now start seeing AI film reviews as a critical discipline. We need critics who understand the medium. As a company, we have already started doing this, but a new grammar needs to be developed to critique AI films. We will need more AI film festivals and award shows. VIFE is the beginning of this, not the end point. I see more and more platforms coming up for community building and distribution. Streaming layers specifically for AI native films, curated and with context. Screenings with filmmakers in conversation, and a content layer that builds the culture around the medium. Simulation-driven narrative, where alternate storylines are explored as fully as the ones that get made, will eventually change what stories we are capable of telling and by extension, what ideas we are capable of holding. AI cinema is going to be all about expanding the range of human experience that cinema can express, and we are the forefathers shaping this. This is not just a new product category, it is a civilizational shift in storytelling. Stories won't end, they'll evolve. I actually believe that the future of storytelling is transmedia, where every story deserves and gets multiple lives. A story that doesn't find its audience might find it as a game. A character that doesn't land on screen might be adored as an AI companion. Pokemon didn't start as a franchise. It started as a story that ended up having characters that had infinite lives across infinite mediums. Generative AI makes the rapid prototyping of transmedia IP look like plug and play. Games, apps, merchandise, events, experiences, all following animation playbooks that used to require Disney-scale resources, but are now available to even independent creators. Characters can now evolve across iterations, just like Spider-Man did across decades. But cinematic simulation doesn't just have to be limited to the story. It extends well into simulating the reach and distribution of a story too. And that is something we all need to work towards. And if we get that right, here's the part I'm most excited about. AI lends itself perfectly to fan fiction at a scale and quality that just wasn't possible before. Instead of an IP dying when the studios move on, fans can continue it infinitely. For the first time, fans don't just consume stories, they extend them. And it opens entirely new revenue models for original creators. Licensing, canon versus fan-on layers, community-funded expansions, and creator royalties from fan-generated worlds. The stories don't end when the credits roll, it begins. We need the ecosystem, the reviews, the award shows, the streaming, and the community for precisely this. We are not just building a new tool, we are building the foundation of a new medium. 3 years ago, we started building internal AI pipelines because the infrastructure didn't exist yet. We built it for Bollywood, we built it for Hollywood, and then we realized something important. This shouldn't stay internal, and also we ran out of excuses to not release it. So today, we're releasing it. CTE, a cinematic simulation engine. Not a tool, not a generator, a system to simulate films before they're made. The simulation era of filmmaking has already begun. The only question is, will you build films the old way or will you understand them before you create them? Because the studios that simulate first will define the next decade of cinema. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.